You're listening to the SoulShape Podcast, where we focus on your spiritual fitness, or what we like to call your energetic self-care. We're sisters and the co-founders of SoulShape, a quantum wellness app designed to make it easier and accessible to find healing practitioners in the energy healing world, and the soon-to-be Soul Gym. We want to have soulful conversations about spirituality and wellness, and whether you are dabbling or taking a deep dive into energy healing, we want to introduce modalities and healing practitioners to you one by one. So it's time to get into SoulShape. My name is LJ Woodard, and this is my sister, Leslie Bennett. Leslie, who are we talking with today?
We have another good one. We have Susan Curry of Interior Works, and we're talking about the power of alignment.
Alignment. Well, let me tell you a little bit about Susan. She is an emotional frequency intuitive, a holistic life coach and nutritional advisor specializing in the adjustment of inner frequencies. She is the founder and developer of the modality Interior Works, a human performance tool which can be generally described as a naturopathic intuitive life coaching program. Did I say that right, Susan? Naturopathic? That's a new word for me.
Yeah, naturopath.
Got it. So you created your own modality. Why don't we first start with Interior Works? Why you created your own modality? And explain Interior Works to us.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And then second of all, let's get into my curiosity with the human performance. That's what got me on this track. So the word Interior Works, I spell works, W-E-R-X, and the E is for energy, the R is for release, and the X is for experience. So it's an energy release experience. What I observed as a curious young human is that certain people were successful and happy and joyous, and other people weren't. And I thought, well, they all came with the same, material. They all came with the same equipment. Why isn't everybody just happy and joyous? So I started, researching why some people, live in misery, and what's more importantly, how could I help release that? So as a small child, I was getting what I call downloads of information, which was, I just thought every human got these downloads. I would know information about other people, like why they were sad, or, without them telling me, which is an empathic skill. So I realized that I was empathic, that I was clairvoyant. I could see things, see visions, or see things that happened to them in the past that I wasn't, privy to. Like, I didn't know their stories, but I knew their stories. And then what was more important to me was, okay, well, since you can see all this stuff that people are carrying around, well, why don't you be a vehicle to help them release it, so that they can live in a happy, healthy body. So that was my kind of aha moment. And then I just put myself in a think tank, eliminated certain friendships. I eliminated the newspaper, the magazines, any kind of outside influence, and just, started researching and doing my own experiments. I worked with a forensic psychiatrist in downtown Chicago, who allowed me to have all these exposure to people that had really intense issues. And once I was able to help resolve their issues, I knew I was onto something really good that could really help humanity. So that's what I do.
Isn't that fun? So let's talk about release, right? You get these downloads, and you work to get them out of the body, out of the energetic field. Is that correct? Tell me more about that.
So I don't call it the energetic field, because what I seem to find is I find little, I don't want to use the word nodules, but I find little points within the cytoplasm, within the cell, within the organ, within the body. So it's not an energy field. I'm actually working on the inside, on the cellular cleansing. I'll just call it that, cellular cleansing. So So when I hold someone's hand, I get these pings in my body to go to the points where they have issues that need to be resolved. So I don't hold hands with a lot of people.
I was about to say, wait, hold on. It's like, how do you meet people, or I don't know, just anybody? I would think you might explode, Susan.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, is it a strong feeling when you touch someone?
Yeah, I mean, like I've had almost doubled over pain from people's pain.
Mm.
Um, and of course, as a young, as a teenager, it was detrimental. And so my defense was to become sarcastic so that I could kind of keep people away from me. I make jokes and then I'd like run away from them. But I was talking truisms, but I didn't want to get into it.
So
And
that,
then when I started, go ahead.
well, that empath feeling, right? Does it only arise like when you actually touch someone?
Well, now, yes. But when I was, on I couldn't go to a party. It was very, I mean, if I went to a party and somebody had a fight with their lover or whatever, they had gastrointestinal stuff, I would feel everything at that party. It was never, a fun experience for me until I learned how to keep it, out of my system, which when I sit down, I'm totally off. So I could be in a party seated and I won't get any data. When I stand up though, it's like, so when I sit down and lay down, I'm like off because I'm like, come on, I need an off switch. I can't be on all the time. So that's why, that's one way of protection.
Mm.
Although I'm much better now, I can go to parties and just, kind of walk in my own love bubble and say, I'm off duty right now. I'm not, this is not, all I care about is what outfit you're wearing and how cute you are and what delicious foods we're eating or what the dance music is. That's all I care now.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good to know.
Well, I've worked with Susan,
I have too.
so I know how
Yeah.
she works with the body.
Mhm.
I know how you connect in and those pinpoints. I'm always fascinated by the use of color. You always have us breathe in a color or breathe out a color. How does that work for you? How do you get that download? And
So
how-
that's a new addition to the modality of interior work. So it's just in the last maybe several years is where I'm doing what a color washing because how do I phrase this? I needed to figure out a way to make it less, I don't want to use the word taxing, but less of my body doing it for them and more of your body doing it with me.
Mm.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the color gets me kind of off, I won't say off the hook, but gets me, it makes it more of a collaborative as opposed to, I used to just do it for people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, my physical body had to have a reboot,
I
a
remember.
couple years
Yeah.
ago. Yeah. And, it was because I was using my energy solely to help clear people's bodies, which I'm happy to do, but actually in this day of all is love, to do the more collaborative work is the way. That is the new consciousness, to do the more collaborative work. So I'm not, I'm assisting. I'm not it's not Susan doing it. I'm just there as a coach next to you to like, you've got this talent. I'm just guiding you. Okay. Put the yellow. Okay. So it just comes as downloads, whatever color, yellow, blue, purple, whatever we need to wash. And it just comes, the information comes. So I get blocks of data. I kind of call it my note cards.
Hmm.
No, for
It's
someone like
like-
me who's not so like layman terms, like this sounds like the colors kind of just get you in the mood, right? Kind of.
Yeah, well, and colors are a healing essence. Sound is a healing essence, color is a healing essence. They're all healing essence. So the color, for whatever reason, brings that vibration. It could be like when I'm working on the heart chakra, we need green. When I'm working, those are the colors that will help it come back to its own alignment. And that's what we're talking about, alignment. We're all walking in bodies that know how to be aligned. I call it aligned in the divine.
Mm.
It knows, it just falls off a little bit or gets clouded by stories or experiences that become emotional entrapments inside the cells. So I'm like a forensic kind of.
Well, that's the
an
power of alignment. I did say
Yeah.
enlightenment too, which helps, it's part of it. But that alignment is really, that's what's so powerful about it. Because when you're in alignment, man, you are just, you're a
Oh,
force to be reckoned with. You're completely, in tuned and everything. So, um,
I mean,
it,
doors open, the world is yours. Synchronicities happen. Um, you know, I did this peace planting project in Chicago with a group of people, and we had 24 locations to go to. One of the locations was to go into the opera house
mm,
on a
cool.
Sunday when they
Wow.
weren't having a performance. So all of your analytical data would say, well, Sue, how are you going to get in there? What's going, like you don't know anyone there. Who are you going to call? It's like the data came. I was totally aligned. And I said, I just need a driver, a really good driver in a fast car. I just need somebody and I'll get in. I said, I need a, so sure enough, we pull up on Michigan Avenue. I throw open the door. And at the very moment I throw open the door, this side door opens that doesn't even have a knob on it.
Right.
And the band these people are rolling their big, instruments out with the dollies and stuff. I said, oh, let me hold the door for you. As they go out, I go in.
There's your invitation.
Right. I plant the little crystal where it needed to be, and then I go out with the band. But that's how alignment works. You don't have to do the analytical part, it's not necessary. It actually kind of clouds the vision. You just know.
That's how we were raised, Leslie. I mean, our mom was one of those people for sure. Like, right? Come on. I don't know how we're going to get there. I mean, this is before navigation or maps. Let's just get in the car and go.
Yeah, my mom, our mom always got us there. She was, and you've heard our stories about our mom. She was just one of those people that just knew how to get there, knew that she'd meet the right people. So we were raised with that. So we've always kind of, although, as we grow older, you kind of go, come on, Mom, that's not going to happen. and we would doubt her. But yet again, she would prove us wrong. And, good on her to
It rubbed off because sometimes I've gone to Europe so many times, like when I was in college, when I studied in London, and I forgot to get cash. I mean, I think were ATMs around? I'm going to age myself. I think when ATMs were just starting but like, I'm like, oh, I don't have any cash, but it's like, someone will help me. I mean, maybe I had $5 in my pocket, and sure enough, there's always a nice military person that's willing to help a young girl with her suitcases. So that always helped. But
so I want to get back to
to you.
Yeah, it's not about us, Laura.
It kind of is, though. Sometimes
it is kind of. All right. So,
sorry.
Susan, one of the things that I think we've talked about, just between us, is that, where we work, having that power to go within and knowing our inner power versus, oh, Susan can help me, I'm just going to let her do it. And that's really not empowering people or keeping their alignment. So how do you deal with a client that really just doesn't want to own their power? They just want you to do it, or they want Joe X to do it. They can't heal themselves. They have to have others heal them. What do you do to coach them or say to them?
It's interesting because I set the stage for them to realize that this is the time the training wheels are offline, So I always set the stage. So for example, I had one, a really intense case, and I gave her a projection. I said, we're going to work on this for 6 to 9 months. But after that, you are up and flying like a bird that's just got these brand new wings. And I so I constantly put that into the sessions. She had an extremely traumatic, violent past life that was affecting her this, her life in the now, with incredible torture
Mm.
this gal had gone through in a past life. So I mean, it was an intense case. It was a weekly intense case, but I set the stage and said, 6 to 9 months. And I kept kind of giving her barometer. Okay, you're 62% there. Okay, let's see, and then we do a couple more sessions. Okay, you're 72%. And I keep giving her barometer. And then she's like, she is up and running and baking me delicious, yummy goodies. And we stay in touch, but she doesn't need me. She's up and running. It's all, and in her case, it was a super success because she had been to one of the top psychiatrist systems, and it didn't work for her.
That's what I was going to ask you, because how intuitive coaching, life coaching, that your the interior works that you do, how that complements someone who's on therapy. I mean, they must be reaching out because they're either not satisfied with their therapy and they're trying something new. They're open to, I mean,
her parents, and she was like in her early 30s when we worked together. So her parents actually set it up because they said, we've spent thousands and thousands of dollars. We've given our daughter the best, professional help that we thought would be helpful. And we're not getting anywhere. She's still traumatized.
is that sometimes what it comes down to? Because if someone's just willing to try, to be open, and Les and I always talk about that, that's about getting into SoulShape, to be open to the possibilities. I mean, I think that's...
Well, and that's super, super important. And I want to kind of drill into that a little bit and a lot.
Yeah, go for it.
Because, and again, this is all going from my research and my experiences with clients, but I had a client that said, I don't want to talk about it. You just do it. You just, hold my hand and do what you do and just, and he was just really closed.
Mm.
Well, I did the work and he got the healing. He had like a fungus that was in his toe. I cleared that not I, but the energy that I pulled together did it. I don't say I do it. It's a whole, I just align with the energy and help facilitate it. So, but the fungus was cleared, but within 2 days I had it. So so the fact that he would not openly listen and wanted me to do it, it was cleared, but then I inherited it. And that was not, I'm like, oh no.
Nobody wants a fungus in their toe. It's awful.
Exactly. So then that's when I you have to, I will only work with people that are, that will be like, okay, I'm curious about this and I'm open. I don't know how it works. It sounds kind of weird, but I'm open. If they say, this is weird, I can't do this, no way, then I say, good, no way, goodbye. So I won't work with anyone unless they are open to it. And they don't have to understand. I always tell people, you don't have to, when you turn on the light switch, and you get that beautiful, brilliant light coming from the ceiling or what.
How does that really happen?
You don't know the circuitry, but you enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of like the light switch theory. You don't have to understand how I do it.
That's what I feel about every time I take a flight on an airplane. I don't even know. How does this thing stay up in the air? How the heck?
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
It's the beauty of it.
It's a good question.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be open. The work always has to start. You have to be willing. What did we say the other day, Leslie? We were talking about any kind of journey you're going to take, a healing journey.
Embrace it and enjoy it.
Yeah, you
have to be in love with the journey.
Not just in love with, like, let's say, I'm going to be in love with, like, oh, I can't wait to lose weight, or I'm going to feel better, or I'm going to quit drinking, or whatever it is. But you have to be in love with the healing part of the journey. Like, oh my gosh, this is the process. I'm doing it day 1, day 2, day 3. And you have to love the journey.
And the journey's up and down, right? We have waves and ebbs and flows of the journey. So, so getting back to Susan, our guest.
Hi, Susan. Remember us?
You're so cute.
I think one of the things too, as we're talking about alignment and we're talking about synchronicity and we're talking about flow, we can get there, but how do we stay there, or how do we get back to there?
Yeah.
Because, I might have a great session with you, and I have, by the way. So recommend Susan. She's
Me
awesome.
too.
Thank you.
Is that, you'll feel good. I'm flying like, oh my God, Susan's the best. She's great. And then maybe a week later or a month later, you're like, oh, I'm clogged, or I'm in discourse, or I'm just, feeling. Is there tips and tricks you teach your clients, or tips and tricks you do for yourself? How do we maintain? And there was a lot of questions in there. So respond however you want on that in regards to alignment. So I'm just going to turn it over to you. And
How do we
you could,
stay there?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, great question. So one of the processes that I teach people is that you out it. So like if you're feeling, whatever, yucky, you're feeling,
wonky.
like kind of, well, yeah, you're just, they're like sad or whatever. It's to out it, meaning like, I feel you, sadness.
Hmm.
I release you. And then I always say, look at the earth, look at the dirt, and actually, kind of, I just blow it out. I feel you, sadness, and I release you. So it's not saying, oh, I don't want to feel like this. It's just like allowing it. It's like you're at a train is passing you at a station. You're at the station and the sadness train passes. You feel it, but you're not staying on the train. You're not getting on the car. You're just, I see you and I release you. Because a lot of it is old bubbles. I call them emotional farts. They're old bubbles, and they'll be triggered by if you see something that reminds you of something and you have a sadness, and I still do this. I mean, I do this practice too. I mean, I do this work, but I'm not walking in total enlightenment every moment of my day. There's,
Right.
I've got all these human experiences. So, but I feel them like, okay, I feel you, sadness, and I release you. I feel you, anger, and I release you. Although anger, I want to put on a side note, anger can be used as a power tool. And that's, anger, and this is something that I teach, well,
So can you teach
clients
those
that have worked-
Karens out there to use their anger for good?
I have many friends who are named Karen. We just want to put that out there.
Okay, it's out there.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you said parents.
See?
I thought you said parents.
Well,
Right.
We were talking
Because
about
Go for
I
it.
did-
Talk about anger. We interrupted you. Talk about anger and using it, use the power.
As a power tool. So,
Yep.
People that, clients of mine that I work with, first of all, they've got to do step one, which is just being able to feel it and release it, in a responsible way. That's the first thing. And then the next elevation of that is using it as a power tool. So anger has the same, I call it RPMs, rates per minute, as passion. It has the same speed.
Mm.
And it just depends on what you're pointing it at, right? So if you feel that anger and you're triggered about something, you flip it in that moment. You have 17 seconds before it just stays straight anger and rage and makes a whole nasty thing happen. But if you flip it and say, I have courteous drivers around me, they're athletic and courteous and joyous drivers around me. I'm just using traffic because it's so easy to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But you flip it in that moment. So it's like you take that anger trigger and then you start prophesizing what it is that you want. And you say it in the present tense. I did this. I've done this experiment, but the best experiment was a pair of concert tickets. I wanted this concert tickets, and my friend said that she bought them for me. And then the day before the show, she says, oh no, I gave them away because I thought you were too busy, which set me into full rage. Luckily, she wasn't anywhere near me, but I was in full rage. And I went out in the park and I said, yes, I want to go to that concert. I love Ravinia. I love this concert. La, 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 la. And I'm putting all my anger. I was I was like a race car screaming in the park. people see that all the time when they see me sometimes. So, so I'm all this anger and I'm putting it towards what I want. I want to go to that concert. I go back upstairs very calmly after my release. Oh my God, I felt like a little flower. I felt so light. I'm like, okay, everything's joyous. I go back upstairs and she is on my phone with the concert tickets. I bought them. I'm paying for everything. How can I, just like boom, boom, boom. But the cool thing is, because I put so much energy into that concert, I got front row center in the pavilion seats by the time that concert started. She bought the tickets to the lawn seats. I walked into the parking facility and another lady runs up to me. Hey, do you need some tickets? Now this is the universe.
Yeah.
It heard me loud and clear. This girl wants to go to the concert. How can we make her happy? So another person comes. I said, no, I'm good, because they were lawn tickets. I was like, no, I'm good. We get inside. We start taking selfies. This other couple runs. Again, urgency. Why urgency? Because there was so much power behind what I was asking for. This other couple comes up with these concert tickets and says, we're going to make your night. We can't stay here for the concert, but these are front row center. Have a great time on us. And boom, up in the front.
That's part of the release of discourse, right? Brings
that
alignment.
There we go.
Ding, ding,
there
ding,
we
ding,
go.
ding.
That was, I like got chills running through my body from that story.
I mean, and
everyone has those stories. I mean, not everyone, but a lot of people have some stories, and that's the formula. You just said the formula, how to, like, whatever, anger, release.
I call it anger as a power tool. Using the anger as a power tool.
Yeah.
Now,
like
how
you
can
say,
we do this for the lottery? It's 1.4 billion.
I know. I love the lottery. I love so much. I mean, like, how many numbers is that? I love all those numbers in my bank account. I mean, it'd be so fit.
I mean,
all
how
those
many
zeros,
and all those commas, comma.
all those commas and numbers in my bank account. I like that idea. It's really big. And then I have friends like you that I want to facilitate what you're doing. And I have friends that are doing other wonderful works in the world. So there's lots of, we're going to do that one. I like that idea.
Yeah.
I love the lottery.
Lots of money to pass out.
But you know what I like about the lottery? Because it allows you to be aware of things that you don't know you have. And there's a good example of, your issues of lack, your issues of I had a oh crap moment. I don't know if I told you this story. So when the last time the lottery was at like 1 point whatever, someone in California won, and that's all I knew. And I had bought a ticket, and my dad came in, and I told him that someone in California won, and he said, so like childlike, and you've met my dad. He goes, or our dad, sorry. He goes, so did you win? Like he knew for me that was in my possibilities. But I sat there for a minute and I had a moment of panic, like, oh God, what if it was me? And I just had that sense of what it was like for that moment. Like it could have been me. It should have been, not should have been me. Well, should have been me. Sure. I'll claim it. Give me that check, but it was a moment to highlight that feeling of what was potentially blocking me from that ticket. So it was very interesting. And then I looked, it wasn't at the place I bought it. Cause all I knew was California, and I was in the California pool, but not at that specific location that it was purchased. I didn't look yet. I didn't want to know, because I wanted to keep the illusion that I had one and had that, keeping that experience, so I could feel within my body what wouldn't have allowed me to receive that money.
I'm going to flip this right now.
Oh, good.
I'm going to flip this right now, because
oh boy, we're going to win the lottery.
I want you to realize, Leslie, that feeling that you won, right?
Yeah.
And all that, like, kind of, like, and I'm assuming it was kind of fear, angst.
Yeah.
Okay. That is the feeling that you would feel when you won. So I'm not going to call it a blockage.
Yeah.
I want you to tap into that again, because like, it's almost this like momentary, like, oh my God, I can't believe my greatness. It's like, or my good, my good fortune. I can't believe it's that momentary. So that is that formula for you at the moment is the way to the lottery. Does that make sense?
It does, because there was also a sense of freedom, right? I don't have to
Right.
worry about the bills. I don't have to worry about not being able to open a soul gym or being able to pay the mortgage. And none of that. It just was complete free. It was just a momentary, fleeting thing, but it was you wanted. I wanted to grab onto that stream of thought because it felt so good. Like, oh my God, I'm unshackled. I'm free. There's nothing barring me from moving forward. So it was a really cool experience. So I was in alignment
So
for
tap
just a
in-
moment.
So tap into that daily. I
Yeah.
would tap into that daily.
Yeah. Me
And,
too.
and oh,
Yep.
sisters, we're gonna win this.
Yes.
This is great.
And everyone
I
in the
love
audience who's listening, this is how you do it. We gave away the
How I do
secret.
it,
So
yeah.
hopefully we'll have in our comments page, oh my God, I won the lottery. This is so great. So
Well, it's really not a secret. These are all things we can do. This is not like something new. We read about these things, we hear about these things. It's kind of like we were talking about practicing, gratitude, really the activity of gratitude. We know scientifically that it really helps you. Um, and it's almost like, or just like eating better, right, is, a healthier way to live. We all know these things. Susan, why do you think, why don't we do it? Why don't we do it more often?
Well, I'm going to just poke into the gratitudes, because the gratitude, what I've found with people is there's sadness connected to some people's gratitude.
Mm.
Like, have you ever seen someone, they're like, oh, I'm so happy and so thankful. And they're like really sad when they're saying it. I'm like, well, okay. So to me, like, gratitude can work as long as you're aligned, but gratitude doesn't work because it brings back sadness. Like, oh, why did my husband leave me, or whatever, and they're like, I'm so happy to have a new husband. And then they keep thinking about their old situation. So any of these practices have to come out purely. And actually, I'm just having an inspiration. If we listen to children, like a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old or someone that's just learning to talk, and you tell them to say the word gratitude, now we got something we can write on, because that is pure.
Yeah.
Gratitude. Gratitude, right?
Yeah.
It's super pure. So quite frankly, I think everybody should just find a child, have them say it, and then listen to that over and over, because that's pure.
Wow.
That's pure.
We can definitely learn a lot.
So the work that I do gets really deep, into like, so if somebody wanted to elevate and they said, I work on gratitude, but it's not working. Okay, well, let's talk about, I want you to say that word. We're going to dissect that word. We're going to get all the little sadness bubbles out of that word gratitude so that you can use that word, or we're going to shift and use another word. Like the word God. The word God has a lot of, right now, even when I say it, there's sadness that comes up, which I'm just releasing right now outside into the dirt. Because there's been so much persecution and condemnation and judgment around that word God. So that's why a lot of people now, universal source, divinity, all those words are purer, more pure. So, I'd love to do a whole God cleanup so that the word God would be really cleansed. But I think by shifting it at the moment, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Universal source, divinity, alignment is another one. These are all words for God. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just we're raising the consciousness and the value of those words. Words are important.
Words are important.
Yeah.
They're definitely
and the use
food.
of them and how they're and the energy that's put into them. And people have triggers. Not to, like, as a young child, one of my triggers was the word dessert. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Dessert.
I don't know. Did we ever talk about this? I don't even know I know this.
Well, here we go. I'm going to talk about it. So when I was growing up, my father, who was military, German, strong male personality, would say no dessert unless all your food is eaten. And that word dessert, he would like, "Rah," like no dessert, like he put all this like,
Right. No
"Rah."
soup for you.
Yeah, this scary thing, I call it the scary
You
dad
know.
thing, into that word. And I'm a little kid, right?
Mhm.
And so actually one of the real one of the turning points for me about working full time or working hard on building my interior works profession, one of the turning points was I was triggered by the word dessert. I went again from 0 to 60 in rage, and you ladies know me. I don't really get,
Mm-mm.
Nope.
Like at a
you know,
restaurant, would any of you ladies care for dessert? Would you be like, "Rah!"
I, well, it was in the privacy of my own home,
Mhm.
and I had set the stage for it because the whole house smelled like brownies, and the family comes home and, oh, can we have dessert before dinner? And I just went like, I mean, like it was like this roar through my entire body. My whole entire body was like fire. I mean, it was crazy. Okay. So since I'm doing the work that I do, I looked away from my family and my eyes caught a coffee table that was glass, and that glass exploded.
Oh, I do know this story.
Yeah. So this was the highlight of me saying, well, Sue, you sure got a command of energy. You better heal some people with this. You better not blow up stuff. Let's just go blow up some cancer or something. You know what I mean? Like so I stayed up all night. I'm like, oh my God, quantum physics. Okay, this is energy. This is how it works. Okay, rage comes out, you hit the glass and boom, it cracks. I proceeded to do that a couple other times, not as dramatically, but like my windshield, I broke it, I don't know, 6, 7 times, like until I realized, well, Sue, you can't just let it, you have to put it into the dirt. That's why I put my anger into the dirt, because I'll blow up something. And I really don't, so once I figured that out though, I stayed up all night reading quantum physics and energy. And that's how I know that anger is a power tool, because within that next 3 years, I did help someone that had cancerous cells have those leave their body. I did help someone who had a toothache that, tooth was supposed to be extracted, that got to stay in her body. I did, so I have been using that power to raise, and to eliminate whatever it is that's holding that health out of alignment. So, that's why I know that this is a truth that you can do. I have a really strong chi. Some people, other people do as well. So I would imagine that those people can really use it for healing.
Yeah.
And it's just what you point like it's a power source that we can use for upliftment. And that's what I decided to do with it instead of breaking up glass.
Yeah. Well, Susan
Right.
Curry of Interior Works.
Yes.
It's about that time when we do our soulful stretch. And
Nice.
yeah, so that soulful stretch can be something that has from this conversation or something recently in your life, or maybe not so recently, where we have changed our mind or just
Shifted.
basically shifted. A soulful stretch is a shift in a belief, in a understanding, or something just new, right? So for me during this conversation, I really liked your emotional farts, because I feel like I need to make more loud farts, with my emotions. So if something comes up, just fart it out. And I know that sounds really weird, but that graphic and that image,
They're going to grab this clip. But it's
I
gonna
know
be
they
like,
are gonna. They don't grab this clip, please.
Great.
Yeah, I'm making loud farts. No, these are, just letting that emotion out, just like you would gas.
Lord. There's
Yeah.
that
And
God
what's-
word. Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
I know. And what I want to add to that, is when you do have gas and you are around your loved ones, you
Mhm.
don't stay in the same room with them. You go in the other room.
Yeah.
So that's the other part of this with your emotional farts. If you have
Well, you
sadness or
hope
anger,
that person does. Sometimes they
right,
don't leave.
right, and that's like I guess a joke, but but I like with these emotional farts too, it's like you being responsible. Like I have my sadness, but I know how to get rid of it. I'm going out here. I'm looking outside. I'm gonna put it in the dirt,
Yeah.
and that's what I mean, I hope everybody takes that from this, is that it's not to like stuff it or make a big deal that you have these things. We have it. It's part of the human experience, but it's just outing it. Yes, I feel you sadness and I release you right into that dirt
The relief.
because Mother Nature knows how to recycle, I'll tell you. So she's
Mm.
fine sucking it up
Do you have
and making
a
some.
Well,
soul
my
good
stretch, Laura?
my it's just it's very simple. How anger can be a tool shifted in it. It can turn that around into a positive to help you get in alignment. And I've always thought of anger as bad. Oh, they've got so many anger issues. No, let's utilize that. That could be powerful.
That's
So
a good
Right.
one.
I like that soulful stretch for me. How about you, Susan? Any soulful stretch? Did you get any soulful stretches from us?
Oh, you girls are so cute. I just having fun with you and it's so delightful. So yeah, I appreciate you. I love you. The soulful, that's not a soulful stretch. That's just a truism. But
A soulful share.
a soulful share. Yeah. I mean, I guess the stretch is I really want to spread this information, these tidbits
Mm.
of human performance at its best around the world. And I, super appreciate that, you two are making that possible, um, to get my voice heard and, inspire others to reach out and do these simple, do these practices as well as, reach out if they want to do personal work. But, I thank you and I appreciate you.
And we will, of course, share all your information in the show notes and descriptions. And on that note, we're going to close it up and we're going to just say thank you, Susan of Interior
Oh,
Works. Thank you, Leslie.
my pleasure.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Signal
Les.
Fire Media, and to our listeners. We all believe here at SoulShape, we believe wellness starts within, and you can unlock unlimited possibilities with energetic healing. So embrace the woo. Put it in the dirt, right? Throw it out there. Dabble, dive, or discover your next healing experience on the SoulShape app. And we hope you've enjoyed this soulful stretch and that you do something to raise your vibration today because the ripple effects are endless. So join us again and be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to the SoulShape podcast. Thank you.